Hello, Susan Wood here, librarian on the Eastern Campus of Suffolk County Community College. This is a short video to show you step by step how to add digital library materials directly to your Blackboard course shell. So you start by going to Blackboard. And then you go to the course to which you plan to add the material. So I'll just use a course that I taught last semester. The next step is to go to Content, which you'll find in the left sidebar. It may be up or down in this list depending on if it's a fresh course shell or if it's one that you've created. You may have moved the content link, but it will be somewhere over here in this sidebar. So I click Content, and then I click Build Content, and the option you want is Library Reading List, and it's right down here at the bottom. So click that. And the first thing is that it tells you to create a folder and give the folder a name. I'm just going to call this Readings, and then click the Submit button. You can change the name later. You can edit the folder, you can put materials in it and take materials out, but that first step is to create the place where you will be adding the digital content. And it shows up here at the bottom of my list. I'm just going to move that up to the top really quick so it's easier to see. Okay, so here's my folder. This is where I'm going to put materials. So the first step is to click on the name of the folder, and that gives you this screen here where you can start searching for library resources. I'm just going to use the example of whales. Of course, you could search for content that reflects whatever it is that you need readings for, depending on your discipline and your subject. And here is my result list. So what this did, well, first of all, the reason it found 207,000 items is because it searched across all of the library's resources, or almost all of the library's resources. So it looked for print books in our catalog as well as DVDs. It also looked for encyclopedia entries, digitized and print. It looked for magazine, newspaper, and research articles, and all other kinds of materials that you might find. If you are wanting to kind of narrow down your list right from the get-go, there's a number of ways to do that. You can do it by type. Maybe you really only want peer-reviewed research, so I can click Update, and now my list is much smaller. Still has a lot of items in it, but I know that everything in my list is something published in a peer-reviewed journal. I can search by publication. So you can say you only want research published in particular journals. You can also use the subject area to narrow it down to specific types of literature. And you can use the content provider. This is a list of all of the databases from which content was found. That was then populated in your result list over here. And as you can see, we've got quite a lot of databases that this search was able to get into and pull materials from. So going back up to the top, you can also simply get more specific about what kind of whales you're talking about. So humpback whales, or you could do whales and habitat. Okay, so this is my result list. I can look at the titles. If I see a title that looks like it might have information that I want to use, I simply click on it and I see the record. I have more subject terms that I can use to get more specific or to get broader, and I've got an abstract here that tells me what this article is about. If I decide that this is an article I want to use or have my students use, I'll just click Add to Reading List. Putting something in the reading list does not mean it's going to be there forever. You can remove whatever you want. So one strategy that works for a lot of people is to simply add a lot of things to their reading list. Here's a video recording. I'm going really quickly, obviously. Here's an ebook. That's just an electronic book that they can read right in their browser, etc. when I have looked through my list and found materials that I want to use, there's no limit in how many you can use. Um, I then go back to See Current Reading List, which is right up here at the top, and this is going to show me everything that I just selected. Um, I can delete anything that I no longer want. That's right over here on the right. I can add notes. So I can say things like, please read this article before class on Wednesday the 12th. You know, I can put in reading questions. I can give any sort of information there that I want to, and then click Save Notes. So if you want to see what this would look like for your students, I'll return to the course, and I'm going to put it in student view mode, which is right here. So now it's going to look the way it will look for your students. So they would go to content, and here are the readings that I just created. I probably would have renamed that folder. And this is the student view. So they'll see academic research article. They'll have the option to click on it here or to click on the full text. Here's the video. They'll just click online access to watch it. Here's a reference item, full text. Here's an ebook. Again, full text will open the entire book and allow them to page through it or search through it electronically. And that's the gist of how to do that. If you have any questions, please get in touch with me. You can find me at the Eastern Campus Library, and I'll put up my contact information next. Thank you.